Hi, and welcome to the Handbag Designer 101 podcast with your host, Emily Blumenthal, handbag designer expert and handbag fairy godmother, where we cover everything about handbags from making, marketing, designing, and talking to handbag designers and industry experts about what it takes to make a successful handbag. Welcome to Handbag Designer 101, the podcast with Roberta from Hester van Eeghen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you to invite me. It's a pleasure.
So you are in Milan right now, correct?
Yes.
And the brand, however, is Dutch, correct?
Yes. The brand was born in 1988 and is Dutch design, handmade in Italy. And the designer was Hester van Eeghen. And she used to be the designer. She created the brand. And this is the result of her passion for leather that was really strong. And she was a volcano of creativity. She was a person of very huge creativity in several niche. But her love was for the leather. She used to be a piano player. She wrote poems, and she used to be an actor in theater. She did a lot.
She was an artist.
She was a real artist. Yes, she was.
So you obviously knew her personally because you have always lived in Italy, and the brand is still very much based in the Netherlands in Amsterdam. Can you talk a little bit about how she started the brand, what was its origin story, and how you became involved with it? I'm sure it's a story.
Yes, actually, it's short. The brand, as I say, was born in the 80s, and she started in a very tiny shop in a Artista, Main Street, where we are now, at number 1. And then she became more new around the world because she attended many fairs. And also some magazine pay attention to her because it was so different from the usual style that you are usual to see. Is not really fashion and is more related to design, and exhibiting also in Milan in the Design Week. She exhibited there, and so the shops became 2 and then 3 and then she started to design also shoes, and to produce shoes for 20 years, very particular shoes, very different shoes. She decided to stop during the pandemic period, and now we have only the production of bags and small leather items.
How did you become involved with the brand?
Well, I met Hester in Milan in 1991, and we became very close friends. And every time she used to come to Milan, so every 1 month or 2 months, to take care of the control, the production, she used to stay at me, and we spent a lot of time together, and we became very close. And so I saw the brand grow up, and I was a little bit involved before, but when she got sick, I went more, sorry for my English.
No, it's okay.
More involved in the company. And after she passed away, I take the company, and I'm trying to go on her path, on her creativity, but to not let stop and finish everything, because what she built in these years was very, very nice, very full of bellezza, we say it in Italy, and a very big work. She did a very big work. So a lot of people ask me, but why don't you go and you continue her work? And I say, okay, why not?
So did the two of you meet because you were already involved in design and production, or did the two of you meet just casually as friends, and then it became, hey, are you a designer? Hey, you can help with production. Hey, you're in Milan, so I think I'm going to have my bags produced there? Because, as you said, she had the brand for 3 whole years before she even met you. And coming from an independent designer perspective, 3 years is a long time. I mean, it might not be in the legacy of a brand, but when you're starting a brand, those 3 years they're big. It's like creating, making, producing, sampling, getting customers, getting a store, getting another store. So how did you become involved with the brand at a small, because she was staying at your house?
Yeah, we met casually because
I
we
mean,
met
you're Italian, so I assume, you're very friendly people. So you meet her once and sure, come stay with me forever. I know how that works.
Well, no, but we met casually and we became friends, but without work together. I was working in another niche at the moment. And for the first year, I just saw her business grow, but without being involved in it. After years, it became, but not at the beginning. And so it was really nice to see, but from outside, not involved.
Right. And then you guys became friends, and then she said, "Hey, why don't you help out?" Or you offered and said, "Hey, I'm happy to jump in while you're not here," kind of thing.
At the beginning, I met her in 1991 because she used to stay she spent 3 years in Milan. She used to live here for 3 years. And after these 3 years, she went back to Amsterdam. And so she didn't have a base in Milan. And so I have one more room. So, and now it's the opposite. Every time I go to Amsterdam, I stay at her house. Her husband is still live in Amsterdam and is very nice to welcome me. And so it's like a big family.
Well, again, you're Italian. I feel like I'm part of your family right now. So there's that. How come, even back then, how come she never, because, as I'm sure you're fully aware, production always started domestically, meaning everybody made things locally. Even in the US, like New York City had a wealth of local manufacturing and local production. How come she never did it in Holland, Amsterdam, Netherlands? And, as one of the few brands that still exists as a Dutch handbag brand, that's quite a responsibility because the aesthetic is not typical. It's not Italian either.
No, the style aesthetic is not Italian, but the quality, and she started to produce in Italy because of in Italy we have a high standard of the production and a very long history of craftsmen in leather, works in leather. So she decided to start here. Also, at the beginning, I think, also because she was here in those 3 years, but she realized that the quality here, the details are different. And also here in Italy, and especially in Milan, in the big city like Milan, Florence, a city that's a lot of possibility to find a lot of color of leather, which is not so. And one of the DNA is the color.
Right.
And yes, so she was able to find color cards for hundreds. I show you the white. This is just
Wow. I want to point out that everybody should check out the YouTube of this video purely for the backdrop that Roberta has of sitting in a haven of rainbow leathers and the swatches she just showed me of leather colors that people would dream of having access to.
a favorite background.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Do you
of the leather and the craftsman and the product very, very handmade.
Oh my gosh. Do you feel though, again, starting a brand in the late 80s and early 90s, it's difficult to, as brands, you have to evolve, but also you have to maintain strong DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people are buying a Hester van Eeghen bag specifically because they know what it is, obviously Italian craftsmanship, but how has the brand evolved and also stayed the same?
Well, we can say that the main characteristics stay the same, are the shapes that are often inspired by architecture or everyday object, or nature, or design, a really design object, colors, and sometimes also surprise, because some bags of Hester, they change, they transform, so you can use it in one way or in another way, or you can open and then became, for instance, we have at the moment it's not in the collection, but you used to have a big clutch that you can open and became a trunk. So yeah, it's great. So they have a lot of surprise. This never changed during the unfold of the brand. The brand is evolved for the quality always, because there is a constant research of more quality of the materials, new materials also, and for details. We have some models that are timeless, it is the right definition. And we produce these models since 20 years, maybe more. And sometimes we thought to take it out from the collection, but people ask for them. Of course, they are updated every few years. So we update it in the materials, but the model is the same. And this is one of the characteristics of the brand. Also, we add new models. Esther also left a lot of sketches, because she was a volcano. So we will try to develop. Of course, some of them will not possible, but some other yes. And also we have already introduced a couple of smaller models, but we will do other. We will prepare other. So this is the way that the brand has followed.
It's so interesting because who she was such a, I mean, I never met her personally. I walked past her booth 100 years ago, vaguely remembering, because the booth was so bright and so colorful and so special. It's especially the way brands are now, because it's a brand that is as close to a heritage brand as one's going to get for a handbag brand that's Dutch. Isn't it interesting that with the rise of social media, how her story would have been so interesting for her to be able to have shared it, you know?
Yes, you should have met her, because she was so particular, and it's difficult to describe. But at the 1st of November, a new book, the third book on Hester van Eeghen, has been launched in Amsterdam, and is an overview on all her journey in the creativity in this brand. And if people read this book, can understand a lot, because she was really special, but not because she was my friend, absolutely. All the people have met her, all the people remember her, because just if you met her just once, you could not forget about her. It was so particular, a lot in every way.
Did you think, though, after she passed, that would be it for the brand? I mean, I think anybody who deals with loss, especially when there's a business involved, there's that hard decision. We had this week's episode, I know when this airs, it's going to be some time, but Ori Lahavi, who took over his mother's brand, Daniela Lahavi, who had also an unfortunate passing out of nowhere, got sick, and, he was left with this very difficult decision. Like, what do I do? This is her brand. This is who she is. Like, the brand is her and she is the brand. So to try and continue this legacy without this person who was such a force of nature, far beyond what the brand could ever be, to say, how do I honor that? What should I do? So I'm sure that was challenging for you as a human.
It's a big challenge, and I confess that I was afraid at the beginning, and sometimes I still be afraid. And it's a big challenge, but I don't know. I felt something that a voice say, go ahead and try. And that's why I don't want to change a lot. Something will change, of course, because there's another person, another personality, but I want to continue in her path and in her creativity. Absolutely. Because I think it's not good to change. I will never be her. I will never be her, of course. I know, and I will never try to be there, of course, to be her. But I wanted to try to follow her path. And for the moment, I'm happy.
Do you think with the way customers are shopping now that you have had to make changes in terms of pricing, in terms of how things sell? Look, this brand is not unique in dealing with the challenges of retail overall, where if you speak to any person who has been in the business of fashion or retail, I tell my students, they're also cranky. They're also like angry and bitter and like, oh, no one's shopping and, but people, much like anything with evolution, people are just shopping differently. You have to find these customers, especially the new customers, elsewhere. So has that been a difficult transition to follow this path to keep the old customers happy, but still find new ones at the same time?
Well, it is hard, especially in this moment after the pandemic, after she passed away. There was a lot to rebuild.
I can't even imagine what you went through. I cannot even imagine.
Yes.
Sitting with the leather behind you and being like, what am I supposed to do? Oh my God.
If you ever wanted to start a handbag line and didn't know where to start, this is for you.
Living proof that independent designers can make it big.
Emily Blumenthal is one prime example.
If you had dreams of becoming a handbag designer and didn't know where to start, this is for you. If you have a handbag brand and are in need of strategy and direction, this is for you. I'm Emily Blumenthal, handbag fairy godmother and handbag designer expert, and this is Handbag Designer 101, the masterclass. Over the next 10 classes, I will break down everything you need to know how to make, market, and manufacture a handbag. Broken down for you that you'll not only skip steps in that handbag building process, but also save money in that learning curve. For the past 20 years, I've been teaching at the top fashion universities in New York City, created the Handbag Awards, and also the Handbag Designer 101 podcast. I'm going to show you like I have countless brands from sketch to sample to shelf, whether you're just starting out and don't know where to begin, or even if you have a handbag line and just need some strategic direction, the Handbag Designer 101 Masterclass is just for you. So let's get started, and you will be the creator of the next It Bag. Join me, Emily Blumenthal, with the Handbag Designer 101 Masterclass.
And this is just a part of the leather she left because so it was, and it still be an hard work to do, a lot to do, but I had a very nice feedback from all the customers, and I'm happy because new customers are coming and they appreciate a lot that unique style. Unique. You can love it or not, this style. You can items or not, but you can't say that they are not different. They are really different. So people, if love, they love a lot. They really love our items. And there were a lot of people that came because in Amsterdam we have showroom and office. And a lot of people came, a lot of tourists, and they appreciate that we are not everywhere, that we are not the big brand so recognizable with the big logo, and they are looking for something that you cannot find in every airport, in every mall, and everywhere. And we are happy when they say, oh, I found what I want because you are like this. Of course, we are not for the big market. We will never sell for the big market. We are a niche. But this is what we want. Also, we don't want to be for big numbers and for everybody.
Do you think, though, the way history repeats itself, especially after a pandemic, at least, if one was to go back 100 years when we had the Spanish flu, I don't know what it would be called. I don't even know if it went on in Europe at the same time. I'm sorry. I follow American trends. I'm somewhat familiar with how things went in Europe. I can go so far as the plague about what happened years and years ago. But when the Spanish flu took over in the United States in the 1920s, and then that was our first pandemic, I guess. And then we had the Great Depression and the Roaring 20s. And that's when Louis Vuitton had its explosion, because it was very similar to what's going on now, that the middle class was pushed down and luxury skyrocketed. And what spawned from that was novelty, things that made people happy, DIY, people making things at home, and color, because color became so special because everything was a sea of blah, blah. But people looked to color for joy, for something. So did you find where you are today that there's a greater interest in the brand purely because of possibly the color and the unique shapes and the joy that it brings? Because I would think, if anything, this would be a great moment to be Hester van Eeghen.
Yes, I found people love colors. Also, I have to say that during the last years, the fashion trends help us because, for instance, in Italy, we used to wear and sell only black, 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 blue, brown, gray, black, black, black. During the last few years, also the big brands introduced the colors, so they help us. In a certain way, of course. And so people is a little bit less scared to dare in colors. But also, we always have also black in store, because if you come in our store, it's like to get in a candy shop, because you have to...
Oh my God.
Change is really impact.
It's special.
So, yeah, people come in attracted with the color, and they look around, and some of them, not few, at the end don't dare, and they buy black. They appreciate all the color, but they buy black. So we always have black. But during the last year, also Spanish, Italians, the countries that they didn't used to appreciate a lot of the colors to wear colors. I think they are more open now. Yes. And it's probably what you say, what you say is after this very bad period, very dark period, people search for something that can transmit happy and lights. And also some of our shapes are also attractive in this way, because they are not so serious, or maybe is the combination of colors and shape that maybe they attract, because they are not so normal as useful.
Do you think, based on your sales, that people are gravitating more towards the party shapes, the unique shapes, more so than before?
Yes. More and more people is looking for something different, and the unique shape could be one of the something different they are looking for. Yes.
Oh my God, there you go. I've taught you so much. She's a quiet laugher, but she's laughing too. I'm not laughing by myself. I just want to point that. I'm just, when I met you at your booth and you were so shy, and I had to basically beg you to do this interview, you're saying, no. And I said, no, you have to. It's just such a special brand that, and I know you get sales from the United States and from other countries, but I just felt like, what this podcast is about, it's so much about, what goes on in retail and fashion and trends. And I interview a lot of big designers and a lot of new designers and a lot of designers who are obviously not from the US. But I just feel that as someone who is a spokesperson in some shape or form for the world of handbags, that I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't able to get you on here to talk about this brand. And truly what makes it so special, because it is really a unique, cool brand of great color, really cool, unique shapes that all go back to who she is. I mean, I'm sure, do you remember her showing you some of these shapes and you being like, are you kidding? Like, no, this is crazy.
Remember. Yes, I remember. Happy to hear what you're saying. And yes, would say I'm happy to be here. I was shy because of my English is terrible. But step by step, I improved my English, but I need to work a lot. So this was the reason for my shy.
No, you are absolutely perfect. You're perfect.
I was afraid to not be able to explain and describe her creativity because it's so, as you say, it's so unique and so unusual that it's difficult. You have to know a lot of very well this language and a lot of adjectives. It's not my case, but anyway, I think that people can have a look around on the web, and there is a lot about her. And well, I would say that's also, I'm really proud of it because of her job, because her work, because she was also very well appreciated from the design world and the art world, the museum world. When we met, we spoke about the museum in Amsterdam, and unfortunately,
what a loss that was. What a loss that museum was. It was. For anybody who missed out on the 𝐶𝐚𝐬𝐧 Museum of Handbags, that, gosh, I don't even think it was around for that long, but 15 years, maybe 10, 15 years, not even 12.
Yeah, more or less. Yes. I don't know exactly, but it's such a pity. And also, I don't know about other specific bag museum around Europe. I really don't know.
There's one in Japan and there's one in Arkansas. And I think there might be one in Santa Fe, and that's it. So the fact that there was one dedicated, because I know with the Handbag Awards, we worked with Manon, the founder, and we did so much with her, and we had designers' bags featured there that it was just such a pleasure to know that as a world, we had a home base.
Yeah, that's true. But when after Hester passed away, the Rijksmuseum, the National Museum of Amsterdam, asked to have a couple of bags of Hester, and her husband donated 2 bags, very particular bags. One is a bag, one is a trunk made with, if I'm not wrong, from a 16th century leather, 16th century leather. And it's very particular. So if you have the occasion to come to Amsterdam, visit us, but also the Rijksmuseum.
I absolutely will. One more question before we wrap up. Out of all the silhouettes of Hester van Eeghen, which one do you think is the most unique and why?
It's difficult to choose. Well, there are 2. One I really love is 𝐾𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐬. Also, then I have to say that all the bags that Hester designed have singular names. The names very funny. So this bag that I really love is confetti, and is made is a clutch, is a pochette, but all our bags you can also wear with the long strapping crossbody because of the Dutch people ride a bike every day, so they want to have this possibility.
You could get killed by the bikes in Amsterdam. Like, you got to look both ways. You have got, forget the cars, the bikes, forget it.
And they are very dangerous, and
and you need your hands-free. So absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So all our bags have the long strap, but this is a clutch, and it's made from 5 little pockets in, I don't know how to say, the big and smaller, different colors and graduation, or all in the same color but different leather. So it's very unique. And also another one that is I love and people love a lot is a UFO, because it has the shape of a UFO. I have one here. I can show you because it's fun. It's this one.
The best. It is the coolest bag ever.
Red on the back side, like a lips.
Yep. It's
Like
so cool. And that has a crossbody strap too.
Yes, as a trouser. The other one is this one.
Oh my gosh. That is
Mm.
amazing. And what's the silhouette called?
This is confetti.
That's the
And-
confetti.
This is one color with just a different leather, but there are also in different colors in graduation. Is like not
Mhm. Yeah.
or in contrast also. That's
Confetti for the win. Oh, what a delightful little bag.
amazing. I love it. But the most, though the best seller at the moment, I have it here in dark color at the moment, is the best seller since ever in a larger size. But since 3 years, we produce the smaller size, and now is the best seller. Is the felucca, and you can wear it like this. Or
Does it
like-
have a crossbody strap too?
and you can take it out or not, and
It's beautiful.
like this.
Oof. Oof.
Or
That is-
there's mainly we have one which is a sumo, and is inspired by the sumo fighter. Then
Right. Yeah.
leather, and is folded on a you say it shaping wood, molding wood.
Uh-huh.
So it has need to be folded on this wood and then sew. So it's one piece, and this you can wear it in 5 different way: crossbody, shoulder body, waist,
Uh-huh.
waist, and backpack, like this.
I mean, I strongly recommend everybody watch this on YouTube just to see for the bags alone.
There are bags
Robert-
that most of them need to be really explained because they change. So someone have to explain what you can do with this bag.
Do you think that made it more difficult to sell them because they required an explanation, or people knew when they were walking into the shop that it was to be expected?
Well, for some of them not, for some other would be difficult, but I can say that I have a great staff in Amsterdam, a very great staff, and they are very well prepared, and they a characteristic of our staff is that they love the product. They love the product. And those that are working in Hester van Eeghen since Hester was there, they used to love her and the product. And they know very well that her creativity is the best way to sell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Roberta, I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to speak with us. How can people find Hester van Eeghen? How are they able to find these incredible bags?
Well, we have an online store and a web shop, of course, HesterVanEeghen.com, and also Instagram and Facebook. They can also HesterVanEeghen.com.
So, and that's Hester, Hester, Van, Vaneeghen, Hester van Eeghen. Correct?
In the spelling.
What?
Well, thank you to help me in the spelling. It's a very difficult name, but it's her name, so it's
Well, Dutch for the win. Thank you, Roberta, for joining us today.
very much. Right to you in Amsterdam.
Don't worry. I'll find you in both places. Don't worry about that.
Let's keep that. Ciao, bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate and review and follow us on every single platform at Handbag Designer. Thanks so much. See you next time.